Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much. I'll ask the question, how are you doing on this sacred day? Of course, made even more sacred by your very presence. Let's give it up this morning for the music. Woo, 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 woo. Thank you, Tristan, our choir director, and the Sanctuary Jazz Quartet. As always, the music here moves on so many levels. Amen? Some of the lyrics of Mad World, the title of that song, may ring ever true to what many of us may be feeling in these ever uncertain times. Again, some of the lyrics. And I find it kind of funny and I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad, mad world. Any of you like me feeling these feelings under, I see some hands. Y'all get to talk at this church. Amen? Under the current political and social climates and realities of this world, it feels like we are living in a mad world. Even still, friends, even still, one phrase from that song's lyrics is where maybe we can find hope even now. As some of you may know, we as a church, through the spiritual development curriculum of Soul Matters, as it's called, through our monthly theme circles as well, have been digging into the spiritual practices as a community all month of many ways to nurture gratitude. The lyrical phrase in that song that inspires, even challenges me, and maybe you, is enlarging your world. Can y'all repeat that after me? Enlarging your world. Last week, Reverend Jennifer Nordstrom, our senior minister, gave a powerful sermon where she encouraged us all to continue to engage the spiritual work of avoiding. Who was here last week? What was she challenging us to do? Avoid what? All right, who get the bozo button? Avoiding spiritual bypass. And that concept, sometimes we or others go through life providing performative gratitude, sharing all is well when in fact stuff in our lives is really not good, thus performing spiritual bypass. When in fact when we share more authentically that things are not good, and I found we share them more authentically of what is going on, there still may be truly things in one's life where both the sorrows and the joys of life can and do coexist and can be shared in sacred community. If you've not had a chance to take in her sermon from last week, it is posted on our First Unitarian Church YouTube channel, and I do say it's worth your time and deeper reflection. Today's sermon title and worship theme is Complicated Gratitude. Is it ever a privilege? The sermon blurb I offered for today's service was, some of us are born into a practice of gratitude sharing that can sometimes feel performative. Of course, we should show gratitude when shown grace and generosity, but what happens when life is filled with insurmountable struggle, pain, and grief? Is showing gratitude ever a privilege? Since crafting that blurb, taking in this month's worship services, and doing a little extra listening to the ways gratitude, or the lack thereof, is expressed as I have moved here within the church and within Milwaukee, and on a trip Reverends Jennifer, Kimberly, myself, and Sherry Wright, our church office manager, and Fiona, our faith formation assistant, took to Fort Collins, Colorado earlier this month. We were doing some learning exchanges with 3 other Unitarian Universalist congregations of similar size, I witnessed gratitude on many different levels. Yes, I have found gratitude and how it is expressed, I believe, is different depending on context. More on this soon. Preparing for this morning's service, it led me to need to share just a bit of my more personal gratitude journey, as Alicia did so vulnerably this morning. Let's give it up for Alicia. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My journey of gratitude starts in Memphis, Tennessee, where I was born. From the time I could comprehend speech and talk, I was told by my father, his birth name is Bang Long Jr., or was Bang Long Jr., of blessed memory, and most definitely by my church-going, hat, glove, and dress suit-wearing grandmother. Did that make sense? She was a church-going, hat-wearing, glove, and dress suit-wearing grandmother. Her name was Maddie Cummins, also of blessed memory. She ensured my sister and I, Kimberly Nichols, also a minister, that we said thank you at every turn. So a little bit more about my formative gratitude context. Again, born in the South, where Southern hospitality is a real thing, even if it's sometimes performative, it is real. You say please and thank you, especially as children, or there was a consequence. Briefly, how has my gratitude journey evolved over the years, and I pray deepened? The next major geographical context of my gratitude journey was moving from Memphis at about 10 years old to the Midwest. I grew up for the better part of 30 years all over the Midwest, where gratitude, as some of us may know, is sometimes called what? Y'all been reading my sermon, Midwest nice. Can any of you relate to Midwest nice being a thing? Yes, sir. So I claim with pride aspects of my Southern hospitality and Midwest gratitude journey as a positive way of living when I can share my gratitude as authentically as I am able to. Is this true for any of you? Can I get an amen? Although I do share deeply of my appreciation most often, it's also true that there have been many times and experiences where homophobia, classism, educational elitism, and racism have impacted my desire or capacity to share gratitude when these isms have soured my experiences to the point of pain that still sometimes linger. Again, I ask, is there ever a time when showing gratitude is a privilege? In preparation for today, I was struck by how little I knew about how gratitude is defined, and even more, how the psychology of more authentic expression of gratitude encourages one to share more of what is really going on in our lives, both joys and sorrows of our lives, and still be able to express a real sense of gratitude. I found 2 articles on the internet that I thought might help anchor what I'm hoping to share in our sacred time together. First, if one searches the internet for essays, research topics, quotes, memes, images, etc. on the subject of gratitude, what do you find? Your page is filled with literally hundreds of links to fulfill your search. However, finding articles that speak to the complicated nature of gratitude, there are considerably less options to explore. Today, the 2 articles I chose are from the Psychology Today. One of the articles is titled, "When Gratitude Goes Wrong, Finding a Way to Authentic Experience." This is by Dr. Elaine K. Doherty, and it was written November 19th, 2023. The other title is "The Overselling of Gratitude. Always being positive makes no more sense than always being negative." Okay, we got a chuckle out of that. Alfie Cohn would probably smile at that. Alfie's article was written July 11th, 2018. Both of these articles are relatively short, and I recommend them to you for your review and deeper reflection. Dr. Doherty's article, she offers a definition of gratitude that I found intriguing, along with many examples of when gratitude goes wrong and how one can find ways to express gratitude more authentically when things do go wrong, as we know they sometimes do, or often, depending on one's reality. Dr. Doherty's definition of gratitude. What is gratitude? Although you might think gratitude is being thankful for a specific act, lately, research has shown that the concept to include more sincere appreciation of anything in the world, and affirming goodness for something in your life. She continues, according to research, grateful people feel more energetic, alive, enthusiastic, determined, attentive, and alert. They feel increased vitality, report fewer depression symptoms, and feel better about life. Here's where I think the lyrics from the song Mad World of enlarging your world, say enlarging your world, may speak to our hope and spiritual challenge when it comes to complicated gratitude. Dr. Doherty goes on to share in a section of the article titled, "For gratitude to be transformative, it must be genuinely felt experience." She writes, from a neuroscientific perspective, this makes sense. Neuroscience shows us that whenever you are in a specific emotional state, your mind-body complex molds to that state and creates the capacity of more of the same. You are transforming every moment of every day, but what you are transforming into is your authentic emotional experience, not what you are trying to conceive yourself to be. I heard it. Should I repeat that again or y'all got it? Should I repeat that again or y'all got it? So I will keep going. She goes on to write, when you are in heartfelt gratitude, your mind-body complex reaps all of the benefits. When you are in an overriding state of guilt, indebtedness, unworthiness, or ambivalence, your mind and body complex molds to these states. With these provocative, even searing words, I take this to be my, maybe even our religious spiritual challenge. When we are in this religious community and are sharing what is real in our own lives or in the lives of those we love, and for what is happening to our planet, there seems to be little to be grateful for now. This, I believe, is when we are encouraged to stretch spiritually, to be with ourselves and those we love, to share their burdens, to bear witness to both the joys and the sorrows and the pain of ourselves and another, not as therapists, unless you are a therapist, but as a fellow traveler on this life's journey. Amen? Yes, we must set boundaries when things are too deep for us to handle, and I share to just listen can sometimes be the best elixir. Yes? A few further examples of when the pain, struggles, and realities of life make it hard, if not impossible, to share authentic gratitude. Examples such as when we or our loved ones get or have had diagnosis of pending death. Is this a time to express gratitude when our authentic emotions and feelings are as they are? Or when maybe we are struggling with drug or any other addiction? When realities of what our transgender and LGBT friends and kin are experiencing on a near daily basis, their very lives trying to be erased, we have to do the deeper spiritual work of enlarging our world, to meet, to be with ourselves and those we are in community with. Even more critical to this point, when numbers of transgender murders are continually climbing year over year, as they have been for many years now, can there be gratitude expressed in such moments? We can say, as a religious community, we see you and honor your lives in living. Can we do this spiritual work? I don't know. Can we do this spiritual work? I believe we can. Friends, we are in the season for extending gratitude, and as I start to bring this sermon to its close, as we gather for this time of year with friends and family in any number of ways, clearly aware that this time of year brings pain to some, the configurations of what I'm calling thanksgiving, friends giving, thanksgiving, or if you're with yourself, I wonder how our encouragement to a deeper exploration of gratitude from an even more authentic space may be useful as we gather. Penultimately, do we like that word? Penultimately, I wanted to ever so briefly share of the other Psychology Today article, hopefully encouraging some of you to dig into it, or as many as possible, as it may provide, I dare say, an even deeper discussion on the complexities of gratitude from its provocative contents. I found myself arguing with the author and being even positively moved by what he states within the piece. Alfie Kohn, the author of the second article, according to Wikipedia, is a graduate of Brown University for his undergrad, and his master's degree is from the University of Chicago. Kohn is an American author and lecturer in the areas of education, parenting, and human behavior. He is a proponent of progressive education, and has offered critiques of many traditional aspects of parenting, managing, and the American society more generally, drawing in most cases from social science research. Cohen challenges to widely accepted theories and practices have made him a controversial figure, particularly to the behavioralists and the conservatives. Again, the title of the second piece, The Overselling of Gratitude Always Being Positive Makes No More Sense Than Always Being Negative. Throughout the article, Cohen provides a wide-ranging exploration on the subject of gratitude, ranging from what he explains as a truly Christian concept, and goes on to share how perplexing it is for him that so many non-Christians, those who consider themselves to be spiritual but not religious, and some even atheists, how far some of these folks go to give ever so freely of overly positive, even rosy sentiments when I'm an atheist. This Christian thing I'm following. I did not choose to center some of this provocative findings in this sermon, as I felt it would take us probably 4 hours rather than this 9-hour service to surface what is within the article. However, I do think it may be an article that some of you, even many, may choose to do deeper dive into some other aspects of what's in it in this community. He also introduced to me an event that happened here in the United States in the early 20th century that I had never heard of, and I wondered whether any of you have heard of it. Anyone here ever heard of Blamesgiving? I ain't heard of it either. I had not either. Briefly, Cohen writes, on the last Thursday of November 1931, about 200 people, mostly angry atheists, gathered near Union Square in New York City. While others are expressing their gratefulness for the good things of the past year, there can be no harm, they write, in making a similar list of all the things that have gone bad. Wow. Interesting, intriguing for any of you. I found it to be most provocative at the very least. This was to be an annual event, but It is reported there has never been another one since. No blames due. Hey, they had hope. As I began to bring this sermon to its close, and as we as Unitarian Universalists, we are working hard to enlarge our world as it relates to our spiritual practices of even more authentic gratitude expressions. That is, the good, the bad, and the not so good. How might we all of us, do even more to let our little light shine as we navigate the days of our lives and living? I wish us all well in this ongoing search for ever more truth and meaning in our lives and living. Yes? Yes. Ashe, Shalom, Salam. Blessed be. May it be so. And all the people said, Amen. Amen.